Your afternoon energy slump is not a cortisol problem. It is a very small part of a much bigger problem. In this video, I'm going to talk about that and give you a tool that you can use to short circuit your stress cycle that is triggering your afternoon energy slump. Hi, I'm Dr. Dawn Browning, somatic scientist and pranayama teacher, and I help high-achieving professional women cut through the wellness fluff that's out there and provide science-backed tools to help steady your energy, sustain your focus so that you can keep doing your great work. We do this through traditional wisdom and modern science. The cortisol conversation is happening everywhere right now, and even I've talked about it. Cortisol does matter, but with many things in the wellness space, it's become this grossly oversimplified explanation for complex biochemical problems. Patterns, I should say. So what's that happening in your afternoon crashes involves multiple systems working together or perhaps not working together. And it's not necessarily one simple thing. I'm going to break down the science of what's behind your afternoon energy slump and share one specific technique that you can use to interrupt the cycle. Everywhere you look right now online, it's cortisol this, cortisol that. Your afternoon crash is a cortisol spike. And I get it. I get why this narrative is so appealing. It's simple, it's clean, it gives you something to blame and something to fix. And we do live in a high stress environment, and it's become a chronic condition. We do not get a break from it. So our cortisol levels are likely and indeed elevated. And more importantly, our cortisol patterns are disrupted. So these are facts, and I'm not disputing that. But what the research actually shows, and this is where it gets interesting, is that cortisol is just one player in a much more complex orchestra of hormones and your nervous system. So it's this interaction between your hormones, your endocrine system, and your nervous system, or the system of your brain triggering signals throughout the body. But here's where most people get it wrong, is that your nervous system has natural rhythms. And in fact, all of your body systems do, your endocrine system especially. With the nervous system, we have these natural arousal states that the body moves through. And when you are a high-achieving professional woman or working in a high-stress environment with multiple demands for your time, attention, and your resources, you're having to sustain a high level of output, awareness, and performance for periods of 8, 10, or 12 hours. And so it becomes natural. It's your body is reacting to being in this prolonged, activated, sympathetic nervous system state, and it's recoiling. It's kind of a protective shutdown after a prolonged, sustained, high level of activity and performance. So this can very likely be the explanation for your afternoon energy slump. And your body is literally trying to protect you from burning out completely. And here's the thing. Recent studies showed that 36% of women worldwide are experiencing regular or chronic fatigue. So that's more than 1 of every 3 women feel exhausted most days of the week, even with good sleep. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you follow any or many of these cortisol protocols that are all over social media, you might actually be making the problem worse. When your nervous system is already overstimulated, already in this chronic sympathetic activation state, and you add more activation because it's an afternoon energy slump, because that's what a lot of these protocols do. It's like throwing gasoline on fire. And your system is like, oh great, more stimulation. That's not what I need. And you end up more wired, tired, and dysregulated than when you started. I've created something for this exact pattern. It's a 4-minute guided practice that you can do at your desk or in your car. So this next part is what moves the needle. So what does nervous system regulation actually look like? It's working with your arousal states, not against them. And your respiratory system, your breath, is intimately linked with your nervous system and your cardiovascular system, your heart, and it is the one body system that you can consciously control. Do this with me now. Breathe in and out through the nose. Take a deep breath in and out. So your breathing directly affects your heart rate, and your breathing consciously can send a signal to the brain to say, I've got this. There's no need to stress out. And so there are breathwork techniques out there, and this is really important. You need to choose the right ones. And I made a whole video on pranayama versus breathwork because so many popular breathwork techniques are designed to stimulate. And if you're already overstimulated, that is the last thing that you need. So I've created that resource to help you choose which practice is best for you. What you need is regulation, not more activation. And awareness is the key to choosing the right exercise to regulate yourself. You need practices that help your nervous system find that sweet spot. It's what we call a window of tolerance, or what I like to refer to as a steady state. And so where you can be alert and focused, but not frazzled. Like that's the ideal steady state that I want to be in. So what does this actually look like in practice? So here's one thing that you can try this week. When you start to feel that afternoon energy slump come on, instead of reaching for coffee or sugar, try some gentle diaphragmatic breathing. And I'm talking about slow, deep breaths. And it's often helpful to use your hands, place them on your low ribs, and it helps anchor the mind into breathing into that part of the lungs. Breathe in for 4, and then breathe out for 6. And do that as many times as you have time for. And that is a great thing to try the next time that you feel an afternoon energy slump coming on. And this slow diaphragmatic breathing is what sends a signal to the vagus nerve, which runs along the sides of your neck. It basically is what signals to the vagus nerve it's safe to regulate down from that high activated arousal state. It's essentially saying, I've got this. So if you want to go deeper into this work, and if you're thinking, Dawn, this makes sense, but I need a systematic approach that fits my very, very busy day to day, that's exactly what we do in my Regulation Rituals program. It's a science-backed nervous system regulation experience for high achievers, where we are working so that you can actually sustain your level of performance and have energy left over for after work for the rest of your life. So if you're thinking, okay, Dawn, this makes sense, but how do I actually do it? I've got you covered. So I created something called the Steady State Reset. It is this 4-minute guided audio practice specifically designed to help you when you hit that afternoon wall. You can do it at work. You can do it sitting at your desk. You can do it in your car, waiting to pick up your kiddos. You can do it on your commute. It really fits into your day. And it's based on the nervous system regulation principles that we've been talking about. And it's completely free. The link is in the description below. Go grab it and let me know what you think about it. And let me know in the comments, have you experienced this afternoon energy crash? And what have you tried to fix it? I can't wait to read your comments and to hear what you think about the Steady State Reset.